Hi, this is Eric Peacock with Pure Rooted Fitness, and this is our football warm-up. So this is a great warm-up for you youth football coaches. If you've got kids in any sport, I'm a football coach, so you could use this pretty much for any sport. One of the big things we see with injuries is poor mobility. Poor mobility leads to weak muscles, leads to instability. So what we want to do is look at this as prehab. So instead of waiting until we're injured and then doing a rehab drill, we're going to use this as a prehab to work on the body, kind of prime the body to move better, especially as our kids are sitting in class, sitting during the day, and then all of a sudden they're expected to go out and play a very dynamic sport. This is a great little warm-up you coaches can use to prepare your kids if you're coaching sports this fall, or if you know a coach, show them this video and give it a try. So we're going to go right from the top. I always like to work from the bottom up. So the first drill I'm going to do is a ankle alphabet, and I'm going to do one on each side. So I'm going to grab underneath the knee. The foot and ankle, it has is the first connection to the ground, and if that's not right, a lot of times things in the knees and hips and the low back won't be right. So we'll do an ankle alphabet, grab under the knee, and we want to draw real big capital letters all through the alphabet. The nice thing about this, it gets kids engaged, so they're thinking about this and they're not talking to their friends and wasting time. It actually conditions the ankle a little bit. The big mistake you'll see is if you see this whole leg moving, that's wrong. You want to have the leg still and only move the foot and ankle. And you're going to do an alphabet on each side and do each side. And the great thing about that takes the foot and ankle through every range of motion possible. From here we're going to transition to a bridge. Bridge does a couple things. It actually activates the butt, the glutes, and stretches out the hip flexors. We're going to do 15 to 20 reps. Going to get right here, push through the heels. I like to put the toes up because I want to activate this anterior tibialis muscle. This muscle a lot of times can get weak, and if it gets weak it can lead to things like shin splints or knee issues. So we're going to start there, press up to the heels, abs come in, squeeze the butt, lengthen the hip flexors, come back down, press up, squeeze the butt, lengthen the hip flexors, come back down. About a 2-second hold at the top. If you feel any cramping in the hamstrings, you're going to move these feet in just a little bit closer to the butt. You want to be about shoulder width. So we're going to do 15 to 20 bridges. From here, we're just going to transition down into more work on the hips. We're going to put the arms to the side, palms out here for stability. And what I'm going to do is called the iron cross. I'm going to lift up and reach across. Now as I reach across, this leg is going to stay pointed straight up. And I'm going to come down, reach across, keeping this leg on the ground straight up. And I'm going to alternate sides. This is going to put a good stretch on the lateral hip and really loosen up that lateral hip, create some hip mobility. And I'm going to do about 10 of these each side. Then I'm going to flip over the next drill. My chest is flat on the ground. And what I'm going to do is called the scorpion. So I'm going to lift from my butt up, aim my heel towards my opposite shoulder blade, down, up, lift, down, stretching out my hip flexor and my quad. From here I'm going to do about 10 of those on each side. I'm going to come to an all fours position. My knee, my hip, and my ankles are all at 90-degree angles here. My wrists, elbows, and shoulders are stacked straight up. I'm in a 4-point position. We're going to do what's called a quadruped, opposite arm, opposite leg. I like to call these bird dogs. These are great for training the core from a lateral stability standpoint. A rotational stability. So I'm going to go right here. This leg's out, pressing out at my heel. I'm going to bring this in, touch my elbow to my thigh, come back out. I'm going to press through my heel and my middle finger. Come back in, touch my elbow to my thigh, come back out, pressing through this opposite heel, holding. And I'm going to do about 10 to 15 of those on each side. Nice, slow, controlled count to work on it's working on my hip stability and my core stability from a rotational standpoint. The other core drill we're going to do is just a plain old plank. Elbows are going to go right under the shoulders. I'm going to straighten my legs. I'm going to pull my shoulder blades back. Don't let my head drop. My butt shouldn't be up. I should be all the way forward. So if we put a board across my back, my head, my upper back, my hips are lined up. So I don't want to see any humping to the back. And I'm going to hold this for about 30 seconds. Just keeping my whole body nice and rigid. About 30 seconds. Keeping my body lined up, keeping my head pushing long. And that's your prone iso plank for trunk stability. So just those two are trunk stability drills, and then we're going to go into upper back mobility, thoracic spine mobility, which has a lot to do with rotation and shoulder mobility. Also takes pressure off the lower back. Back to my 4-point stance. I'm going to try to pat my opposite shoulder blade. I'm going to minimize movement in my hips and my elbow here. I'm going to twist down towards my opposite knee.
and I'm going to twist up, twist down, twist up, twist down. Notice how I'm not bending this elbow, I'm not shifting my hips around. And I'm trying to look up to the sky, and I should feel a lot of mobility coming through that mid-back. I'm going to do about 10 of those on each side. Once I've completed that, I'm going to finish off with some balance. Balance, one-legged work is great for creating good hip stability, ankle stability. So I'm going to put my football helmet, or maybe a ball or some kind of target. I don't really have a target here, but I'll use the ground. I'm going to stand on one leg. This knee can be slightly bent, but my movement's going to come through my hip. And very slowly, I'm going to initiate the movement through my hip, come down, hit my target, pull it up through my heel. As I come down, I'm going to load to the inside of my foot, come up, extend this hip forward. It has to be driven by this hip. And I'm going to do about 5 to 10 of these on each side just to work on those stabilizers and balance. And there's your balance drill. So those are your exercises. I attached I have a packet, if you'd like a PDF packet too, you can go off of, but hopefully that helps. Use this for your warm-up for your kids, and their bodies will thank you for it, and they'll have a much better, much healthier sports season. This is Eric Peacock with Pure Vita Fitness signing off.